The last few weeks, I've encountered many people at the church who are weary. They're tired. Between the lockdown, between job uncertainty, school uncertainty, health, the destruction of our country, the New Testament has a lot to say to weary people. There's a Greek word, ekakio. It means to be utterly spiritless, to be exhausted, to abandon oneself, to surrender, to want to quit and walk away. I want to look at 5 scriptures that talk to weary people. 5 different things. Here's the first thing. When we think about being weary, we need to remember our ministry. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 4:1, "Therefore, since we have this ministry as we receive mercy, we do not lose heart. We do not become weary." Paul had a ministry like none of us have. He had the ministry of the new covenant, the context talks about, bringing forth the gospel to the Western world at that time. Now, you say, what is my ministry? Do you have a family? Do you have fellow workers? Do you have neighbors? Friends? Then you have a ministry. So God's placed you exactly where He wants you to be part of His plan for ministry. So do not lose heart. Remember that. Second, we need to take life day by day. In the same context, 2 Corinthians 4:16, Paul says, "Therefore we do not lose heart, but though our outer man is decaying, yet our inner man is being renewed day by day." As we get older, as we get more tired, as our energy level goes down on the outside, on the inside, God says, I am working every day. Every day, I'm making you more and more like Jesus Christ. Though the outer man decays, the inner man refreshes. So we need to continue to refresh ourselves each and every day so we do not lose heart and grow weary. A third thing Paul tells us is this: keep doing the right thing. 2 Thessalonians 3:13. "But as for you, brethren, do not grow weary of doing good." The context, Paul was writing to the church, and there was some in the church who'd become lazy. They'd become busybodies. They didn't want to do the things that they should have been doing. And so others were bothered by this. They were concerned by this. And so Paul tells those responsible ones, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing right, do not grow weary, because others have become slackards. A fourth thing, as far as not growing weary, is you have a great reward. Galatians 6:9. "Let us not lose heart in doing good, for in due time we will reap if we do not grow weary." Paul's talking there about spiritually sowing and spiritually reaping. We don't always reap in the same time period that we sow. Sometimes we sow spiritual things and we might never see them on this earth. So Paul says, keep sowing spiritual things, keep doing the things of God, don't grow weary, because in due time you're going to reap. Due time God's going to reward you. So you have a great reward. A fifth thing about not growing weary is to keep praying. Jesus says this in Luke chapter 18, verse 1. Now, he was telling them a parable to show that all times they are to pray and not to lose heart. It's so easy to be overwhelmed and not have any energy to pray, to reach out to God, to speak to God, to pour your heart out to God. And Jesus tells a parable about pouring yourself out, not quitting, being persistent in prayer. So when we feel like quitting, when we want to give up, and sometimes we feel maybe we're so tired we can't even pray, we need to muster up just a little bit. And even if it's just to cry out, Lord, help me. Help me in my faith. So we all grow weary at times. We want to give up. We want to quit. We want to walk away from it all. We've had it. But the New Testament tells us 5 things. First, remember your ministry. Second, take it day by day. Third, keep doing the right thing. Fourth, remember you have a great reward. And fifth, keep praying. So, starting today, daily commit yourself to Jesus Christ. Walking with him. He's walking with you. He's there by your side. Remember that. Remember that you begin to put these things into practice, that he is walking with you. Commit yourself to him. But here's the second thing, I think why some people may be weary. Because they've lost the fellowship with other believers. Some have isolated themselves to a point that they stay home all the time. They no longer fellowship with others. They just watch church on video, on TV. We need that one-to-one contact. We need that personal fellowship. We need, as 2 coals put together, they burn brighter when they're next to each other. You take coals and put them apart. Over time, they grow cold. They wear out. So keep up fellowship with each other. Do not grow weary. God's not finished with you yet.